So I've been having a bit of a think lately, often while I'm playing the game or while I'm in the shower or something, about future content and about realistic things that can be added and that fit with the lore of the game. And I've come up with this really, I think, quite interesting idea about tears in space and time. And I just want to talk about it a little bit. So there are 16 different possible tears, obviously 16, that can appear near you. And stepping through it takes you to a timed mission. So when the timer's up, you get ripped back to exactly where you were as soon as the timer ends. Now, these missions or dungeons are specifically designed and have very clear goals that become apparent shortly after you arrive. Maybe a tooltip comes up, or maybe it's just really obvious. There are varying rarities, so you may play some more than others. Most are designed to bring new light to some often ignored features of the game, while some add new features. The new section in your catalogue called Trophies is filled out for completing each or completing tasks within each. There are also unique items to collect, which would, include some of the more desired stuff from the community. So people have talked about wanting to expand their exocraft and their living ship. So some slot expansion items for them, or station overrides, which still don't really have a full purpose yet, but I'm sure they're implementing that soon. So I'll talk about each one then. So the first of the 16, and these aren't in any particular order, just as they came to me. Locate and chase a fast-moving NPC across a planet, on foot and in ship, until you shoot them down from their ship, and you have to chase them on foot again and arrest them, basically. At one point, they're in hiding, and you have to make a bite beat tune in order to get them to come out. And there'll be some sort of basic tutorial for the bite beat thing. I've thrown the bite beat bit in there because nobody ever seems to actually play around with it, and it's actually a really, really interesting and useful mechanic that just gets ignored by a lot of people. The second one, a cave-based maze that ends an encounter with an exceptionally large, truly unique fauna. So think like cave beast or something, like some sort of a troll or something really, really large, really difficult to take down, can kill you pretty easily. Awards a very valuable item. This will be quite a hectic battle because you're in really closed quarters. You've got to be really careful. The third one, I love this because I'm evil. Find the volcano and sacrifice 5 pets to it. These pets will be permanently gone. Okay, I just felt there needed to be some sort of evil path within these. I play like a good character, but I figured there needs to be some sort of evil within all of these, and this is pretty much the only one that goes along that line. But don't worry, there's one later that balances that out. Including this next one, actually. Cure a plague from the various fauna on a swamp planet. So you have to find X amount of one particular type of creature and X amount of another type of creature and feed them a new item, some sort of cure item that you make in a refiner from plants on that planet, or perhaps some of the plants might be on planets in that system or something. So again, just a reminder, you only have an amount of time to get these done, and it will be a varied amount of time depending on which mission you're on. Maybe they can Hello Games staff can maybe play them first and figure out what the average playtime is and just add a little bit of extra time to that. I don't know. Number 5, survive in an exceptionally large underwater cave until the end of the timer. Air pockets are around, as are the plants that grant oxygen, so air supply is the least of your worries. The very large octopus creature and various other smaller fauna chasing you are a problem, however. Getting to your specifically positioned Nautilon is what spawns the octopus in the first place. It can only be killed via the environment, so look around for one of 3 unique ways to kill it. Doing so spawns several baby versions, which are easier to deal with. I think that terrain manipulators would need to be switched off, basically, for this one, otherwise you'd be able to cheat. So they'd need to be deactivated. Several custom-made racetracks, one for each exocraft. You pick one. Falling off requires starting the track again. You must get all the way around before the end of your time limit to receive your reward. A different reward for each track, but you can only do one each visit. The monitor one would be a little different and would be like jumping from platform to platform to get around. So you'd have to be really good at your jumps. Okay, so then there's a system of varied sentinels. See the awesome pics at the bottom of the page. Defeat one of each type in time. Each has their own strengths and weaknesses. Once all are defeated, a kaiju version made up of several of the types will appear. I'm thinking maybe that one could be in space, like as a final boss part. I think Power Ranger Zords defeat it in time for the best reward. So I'm talking about, if you've not seen them, these wonderful pictures by Sean Cruz um, that have a wide variety of different sentinels. I think there's 20 of them. Yeah, 20 of the different ones. All clearly in the pictures have like unique planet types, unique things that they can do. I just think they're really interesting, and they absolutely need to be implemented. They're so good. Anyway, I've lost where I was. Where was I? 7. So number 8, base defense mode. So there's several pre-made bases on the planet. You must pick one and build turrets and wind turbines to power those turrets. These are both in the game already, by the way, turrets and wind turbines. They just don't do anything, and like you have to use a mod to unlock the ability to build them, but they are there in the files. They've been in there in the files for a very, very long time. Anyway, you build them in locations of your choice. After a brief window to do this, a large force of monstrosities attacks from all sides. Grenades are disabled. Your turrets and your multi-tool must do to defend the base until the timer is close to running out to receive your reward. Everything you build disappears on completion or failure. You would obviously fail if certain key points in the base were destroyed. If your turrets were destroyed, obviously they'd stop working. If your various wind turbines were destroyed, then nearby turrets would stop working, whichever ones you connected up to the wind turbines, basically. So number 9, something to encourage cooking. So perhaps you're given a list of 5 end products to make, like cakes and pies and stuff. And you gain a reward for each that you make, as well as a super reward for doing all 5 in the allotted time. The needed ingredients would be available on planet, even if some need to be purchased. This would be best implemented along with an upgrade to the cooking part of the catalogue, which should now track the ways of making each item as and when you discover them. So simply hover over the item in the catalogue to see the ways you've already unlocked and grayed out ones that are not discovered yet. So it could just say not discovered in grey. Pinning one of these brings up a tooltip on how to create it if you've done so before. So if you've unlocked a way of making it, then that way of making it will come up. Number 10, a new crystal planet with auroras at the planet poles and some earthquakes for good measure. That's just the visual part of it. But on this planet, the goal is a mechanical one. There are incomplete or incorrect circuits to fix. So this could just be as simple as like laying down some more wires. But there's also perhaps some things that require some new items, some motors, gears, and pulleys. So let's get us really, really thinking about like those kinds of things. So better items are awarded the more machines or circuits you fix in the allotted time. So there could be a variety of different difficulties of them. But yeah, the more of them that you do, the better the item that's awarded. Number 11, defend the child of Helios from varied attackers. That's that giant jellyfish thing you sometimes get in space encounters that is helpful at a certain point in the Starbirth mission. At the moment, it's not really getting much love other than the Starbirth mission. Like it's just there. You don't really do anything with it. So I think this would help to give it more purpose. It's beautiful, so it would be good to defend it. Okay, then I've got what I call the Npc Maze. Now, this is a longer timed mission that spans an entire system. So it's a maze of types. You start by talking to the traveller that's on the space station, who will then send you to speak to an NPC on one of the nearby planets. Now, that NPC gives you some clues as to the whereabouts of the next NPC. And this keeps going for 16 NPCs, although there are also some additional red herrings thrown in that are dead ends, but fit the previous NPC's description in some way, but not in another way. So maybe they're in the right location, but they don't look like the NPC that was described, or something like that. A good grasp of the various languages is key here. If they can't make an NPC system that's like mixed NPCs, then they would maybe need to make 3 different versions of this one, or a second option could be that they're all forms of travelers. All the NPCs in question are travelers, but they perhaps use the Atlas language or something like that. Okay, so that then brings us to another longer one, taking place in a cluster of star systems. So basically, you have to complete both of the trade routes, buying items from one and selling to the most profitable other systems. So there's already there's already trade routes in the game. So there's like a 3 system trade route and a 4 system trade route. So all you would need to do is visit all 7 of those different trade system types and sell the appropriate items there to qualify for the rewards. So you would buy from system 1, sell to system 2, buy from system 2, sell to system 3, buy from system 3 and sell back to system 1. And then on the 4, it would be, system A, B, C, and D. Sell from A, buy from A, sell in B, buy from B, sell in C, buy from C, sell in D, buy from D, sell in A. And then you've done all 7 types. Then number 14, the hunt. So this is like my sort of compromise, as it were, when it comes to PvP, because I know there's lots of people that want PvP and lots of people that really don't. And I think this is the best possible way of doing it so that everyone is happy. All right, so not only is it in this one feature of the game rather than being across the board, but being killed here doesn't actually kill you. It just eliminates you from this area. You just go back to where you were and get on with the game. So there's 2 teams. There's the hunters and the hunted. The hunted can get better rewards than the hunters. So because they've got a harder job, basically, of surviving, so they get better rewards at the end. All players can be eliminated regardless of what team they're on, though it is mildly harder to eliminate a hunter than to eliminate the hunted. A good way to eliminate a hunter would be for several hunted to gang up on them, or to sneak attack them from behind, or something like that. The hunted are only visible to the hunters while they're moving, but if they stay still for too long, it starts to drain their health. Their health does regenerate, but not quite at the same rate if they are moving. So if they're moving, their health is regenerating, but not at the same rate as it would be draining if they were still. If the hunters eliminate all of the hunted before the timer ends, the remaining players gain a reward. If the timer runs out, or all hunters are eliminated, then the remaining hunted are given a better reward. Simply surviving till the end gives a trophy based on which team you're on. So there'd be 2 or 3 trophies available here. One for being on the hunted team, one for being on the hunter team and surviving to the end, and one for if you're on the hunted, but your team manages to eliminate all the hunters. And number 15 is a kind of combined building effort. So the first person there would be completely unable to complete this, but they'd be making the start. It could be that this is a thing that you achieve all by yourself, or it could be like with the community, but basically it requires multiple visits, perhaps by multiple people to complete. So rewards are maybe high up, or they're only visible when full structures are completed, or something like that. Once the item is reachable, it remains claimable for all visitors for 6 days, and then all the structures are destroyed and the process starts over. Or perhaps instead there's some corrosive element, meaning that base parts will gradually disappear over time, doing so faster and faster the more of them that there are. So the closer you are to getting the item, the faster those like base parts are actually disappearing. A different idea, but similar, would be that you're all working together to build a large shrine to the Atlas. So, for example, I've seen a picture somewhere of like a portal, but it's surrounded by like little monoliths and stuff. So maybe you're building something like that, and like those little monoliths, you need 16 different players to be at one at each monolith and press the buttons around it all at once to activate it and get your reward. So something like that, maybe. And then, of course, what it's all leading up to, number 16, the rarest of them all, which can only appear when all others have been completed. You board and clear the living freighter of all pirate NPCs, both on foot and on ship. So in your ship, you have to eliminate some ship-based pirates outside. Then you have to land in the freighter, clear out all the pirates are on foot in there. And you have to do it in a very strict time limit. So it's extremely difficult. And it always, if you do it in time, the timer stops and it results in an option to gain the living ship as a freighter for yourself, replacing your current freighter, but of course your base can perhaps transfer. So there's a variety of trophies there. I'm not going to read them all out, but you can see for yourself and that they relate to the ones I've talked about. But yeah, I think this is a great idea, and I really hope that now that I've emailed him, Sean Murray implements this at some point. Thanks for watching. Bye.